Okay, so I have to admit, I'm getting a little bit worried about this show. Not like I haven't been there before, but guys, this is the last season, and lately, especially with this episode, I am more and more confused. I feel like we should be getting answers, but I come out of every episode with more questions. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed season 7. The fact that Shower Harvey was murdered in the shower just makes everything okay, sort of. But at the same time, I know we're not going to get all the answers. That's like impossible. But we shouldn't be getting more questions. I mean, please just answer some things and not give us more questions. And what I think they're doing is that what they're trying to reveal to us is so complex and so convoluted that it's taking way too long to try to explain, and they're explaining it so slowly in little bits and pieces in every episode. And it's really, if it was that complicated, if that was their game plan from day one, they should have been explaining it through all the seasons, not wait till the last. So I really don't even know if that was their game plan from day one. I kind of feel like they just came up with this season. But anyway, it's frustrating. Thumbs up if you agree. I'm not saying I dislike this season or I hated this episode, but I just feel like this episode really kind of proved to me that we were not going where we should be. So it starts out with Hannah, this scene that probably they should have made real, where Caleb got run over by Noel, and they need to do bigger things. They need to kill off main people. I'm sorry, not sorry, but that's what they should be doing. And do more, take more risks, I mean, the Shower Harvey thing was great. We need more stuff like that. But anyway, this was all a dream, so whatever. Should have kept it, should have made it real. So we find out that Allie is going back to work, which is not the best of ideas because even her students play a prank on her. But honestly, that's not that hard to believe because sometimes kids aren't kids these days. No, I'm joking. But I don't know, it was a little far out there. But anyway, some people can be kind of mischievous in school. So Arya comes clean to Ezra about deleting the Nicole phone call, and he really doesn't take it well. And I'm going to be honest here about this because that she probably shouldn't have done that, but at the same time, he seems to care a little too much about this Nicole situation. Like, I'm all for, if he wants her to be alive, I can totally get that. He feels bad for the situation, but he wants to go meet up with her in this other country, Colombia or whatever. I guess that's where they're trying to figure out if she is alive. I think that's taking it a little too far for someone who is just about to get married. I honestly would be offended if my fiance was trying to search for his ex-girlfriend. I do understand it's a weird situation, so if he hoped that she was alive, I would be okay with that. If he wanted to see her when she was back in the States, maybe. But the fact that he wants to go to another country, what do you think about that? It's a little much for me, just to be honest. So Emily is interested. She's approached by this guy who works at the school. Maybe he's like the dean or whatever, but about being the swim coach, which really I think is a perfect job for her. So she's kind of interested in doing that. Okay, so we had this Dr. Cochran mentioned last week by Noel, who was like frantic to get in touch with Dr. Cochran. So the girls think they found Dr. Cochran, but it turns out this Dr. Cochran is the daughter of the man, the old Dr. Cochran, and that she basically is not on good terms with him, and he's been out of practice for a long time. And she doesn't really want to help them figure out how to find him. So I really disliked a few things in this episode. One was the return of Mrs. Grunwald, who I think is a useless character and should have died off when Ravenswood died off as a series. She goes along with the supernatural. I don't feel like this show is supernatural, but maybe it is. Maybe it's going to turn out to be supernatural. Supernatural. I mean, some of the stuff they did with Cece was borderline supernatural, so maybe that's where they're headed. That's terrible if that's true, but hey. So she thinks she's talking to Hannah, and she sees darkness around Hannah and Caleb, and I can't with this woman. I don't know why they brought her back. I do get that they're trying to bring all the old characters back, and I guess it's okay, but so far most of them have seemed like pointless to bring them back. Like, what's the deal with that? What are your thoughts about her? Because it really bugged me. I wasn't a fan of Ravenswood. I tried to get into it and didn't like it. And I think they all realized no one else liked it. And she's kind of a part of that scenario. So probably no one cared that she came back. But maybe you love her. Maybe you're like Mrs. G's biggest fan. If you are, thumbs up the video. Anyway, so the Dr. Cochran's daughter, the current Dr. Cochran, calls Spencer and says she thinks that Spencer hired someone, or that Spencer and her friends like destroyed her office looking for information. Obviously that was probably AD trying to figure out where the actual old Dr. Cochran is. And so she just freaking tells her like how you can find her dad. So, oh gosh, where do we go next? So they go see this woman, or this man, Arya and Spencer go see the old Dr. Cochran, and he's super weird, and he definitely knew Mary. He said he delivered her 2 babies. I'm still wondering who the dad is. Some of the stuff he said, I was like wondering if he was the dad. Probably not. This guy was boring. That storyline is a little bit boring to me. To be completely honest, he was just really creepy. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about that. There's probably something important there in that conversation. And yes, I did watch this episode twice, but they lost me a little bit with the whole episode. So if you found something important in that conversation with Dr. Cochran and the girls, let me know. I mean, the only thing that I could think was maybe there was another baby. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking maybe she had twins in addition to having Charles. That's kind of what I was getting, but maybe that's not what they wanted us to get. So we have Paige. Now, I know some of you are really big fans with Paige. Paige is back. We knew Paige was coming back. I've seen her on Snapchat. I knew she was coming back. To me, she was extra annoying in this episode. I'm not really a big fan of Paige. She's been so shady. Let's be real. I mean, she was even like working with Melissa at one point. She tried to drown Emily. I just don't trust her. Still don't trust her. And she's being her shady self. I mean, I know she kind of redeemed herself at one point, but now she's back to being weird and creepy. And she's interviewing for that swim coach job, which is so weird because she lives in California. So she comes across the country. Basically, I feel like she's just obsessed with Emily and wants to get back with her, but it seems like everyone's obsessed with Emily. Hello, Sabrina. So I don't know what she's going to do, but she's standing outside the window like watching Emily and Sabrina, and that's really creepy. She's like that ex-girlfriend that doesn't get the hint and stays obsessed for years with the person and is never going to leave, and she's like the kind that will kill you if you don't get back together. That's how I feel about her. Thumbs up if you agree. So Allie goes into the school where she works late at night, and she's like trying to go through the files, and she sees a warning from A, like in the Knoll file, I think, to back off or she's gonna die, basically. Then Hannah tells Caleb that she's gonna go to New York, which we know is not true. And we almost had like a Caleb moment. They almost kissed. I definitely do think they will get back together, but that didn't happen in this episode. And here's the thing I was talking about earlier with Ezra. So Arya, they were getting ready to go elope in Venice, I believe. And she turned in those tickets to pay for Ezra a ticket to, I guess, Columbia or that area, which is just too much for me. He was very appreciative. They kissed like he was going to die. And again, I think it's wrong of him to need to find out about the ex. You know, he's such an urgent need that he has to fly to her. Obviously, it's great that he's concerned. He should be. But can he, if she's alive, she'll definitely come back to the States. Could he not see her then? It's too much for me. It would really offend me. But you let me know what you think about that. Yeah, and so basically at the very end, we have Hannah setting up like some kind of lair basically of her own, and I had no idea what was going on, and when we had our live chat, most people didn't know. I can't remember who commented, but someone commented on my videos saying they think she's setting up some kind of trap for Noel because she's convinced he's AD, and she's going to like interrogate him in this place, and that makes sense to me. So maybe that's what you thought it was too. If you thought it was something totally different, let me know, because I'm not really sure. I kind of felt like this episode was just all over the place, but if you liked it, that's fine, and let me know why you liked it. So we only have 2 episodes left, and I know we're not going to get like big information or a big reveal in the finale, but it'd be nice to get some information. I really have no idea where it's going or any theories about who AD is, because how can you? I don't know. I mean, I just feel like it's really hard to make a theory because you really don't know what they're thinking. They could be thinking supernatural. They could be thinking it's all a dream. They could be thinking of making it someone's twin or someone, you know, who we know, but it's their twin, so it's sort of them, but it's not them. I don't know what they're thinking. So, but you can feel free to post any theories you have down below. If you haven't come to the live chats, they're so much fun. All that information is down below. They happen every Wednesday. And I love you guys so much for watching KellieTV. See you next time.